All right, my friends. Hello there. This is Avi Singh. Hello. And I'm here today to talk Power BI. Hopefully everything is working okay. It's going to be 30 seconds before I know. I'm just going to wait a little bit just to make sure everything is coming through. All right, my friends. Hello there. This is Avi Singh. Hello. And I'm here today to talk Power BI. Hopefully everything is working okay. It's going to be 30 seconds before I know. I'm just going to wait a little bit just to make sure everything is coming through. All right, my friends. Hello there. This is Avi Singh. Hello. And I'm here today to talk Power BI. Hopefully everything is working okay. It's going to be 30 seconds before I know. I'm just going to wait a little bit just to make sure everything is coming through. All right, perfect. All right, my friends. Hello there. This is Avi Singh. Okay. Sorry about that. But let's get started. So first thing I want to talk about, I want to kick it off by Power BI, talking about Power BI licensing. But before I go there, the first thing I want to say is, gosh, it's an incredible value, and we have to, you can't miss the forest for the trees. I know everybody is kind of all riled up talking about Power BI Premium, Pro, Free, the licensing change. Oh, I can't do sharing, I can't do this. But you have to realize how much of a transformative power this tool is. And I speak about this from a business user perspective. Now, I see the world kind of divided, for better or worse, in two parts, IT and business. I have worked in IT as well, kind of the central hub, which powers all the reporting for all the other units. But business is where the front line is. That's where the data is really needed to make actionable decisions. Those are the frontline troops. Could be sales, finance, operations, marketing, auditors, consultants if you're working for clients, right? You need data to make decisions, and there's no waiting. And of course, you play this game of IT. Oh yeah, you need this change. It's going to be in the backlog. And truth be told, IT has always had the power which is encapsulated in Power BI, right? All of the, uh, kind of the clean shape transform that it lives in the query editor, that has been there in SSIS. Uh, all of the DAX capability that has been there with MDX and SSAS multidimensional. Really complicated, not almost impossible to learn for a business user. So out of reach, right? It was locked away. All that power was reserved for the select few. And now Power BI just brings it to the masses, just brings it to everybody, uh, right? Self-serve BI empowers the business user. It is life-changing, right? It's not life-changing for the IT folks. They just find maybe a quicker, better way to do things that they have always been able to do. But for the business user, it is transformative. So if you think about it, think about the value that it's bringing. Don't get too lost in the details, like, oh gosh, license change and this that. With that, let us talk about Power BI premium licensing, premium, pro, and free. So, and I'm gonna speak again from that early adopter business team perspective, where there's this new guy who's discovered this tool, and they're like, whoa, I wanna just deploy it within my organization and see how it does. So I'm going to talk from that perspective. So this is what Power BI was not too long ago, right? Just a few months ago. And there was a free tier and there was a pro tier, and the free tier had some capabilities. Pro tier increased those limits, added features. And this is not unlike what you see in the market out there. Just two examples, kind of Slack, Dropbox. They have similar tiers. They have free, they have paid, and different levels, different features, different limits. So that was okay by me. But then it all kind of changed. And this was announced in May 3rd, generally available June 12th. Free now has all functionality, but no sharing. And of course, that's a can of worms. Like, what is sharing? And Microsoft kind of made their call on that. No sharing, so that was a big change, kind of a step back. I'll talk about that. Pro has all functionality plus sharing. And then they introduced Premium, which gives you lower pricing for large user bases, plus some benefits. Hold on, I'm going to check my. Okay, perfect. Just hold on one second. Kind of new to this YouTube live thing. I'm just going to make sure things are going okay. So hold that thought, all right? And don't touch that remote. Okay, let's try this. All right, back on. I'm also going to talk about the best path I feel you have for adopting Power BI because, hey, yeah, so that's hard enough. I don't want to make you feel like it's any harder with these changes. I'm going to give you the best path there. So Power BI Pro is essentially unchanged, right? All of Power BI functionality, $10 per user per month. And essentially what that does is it sets the upper limit for Power BI pricing at $10 per month. So if you have 1,000 users, you're never going to pay more than $10 per user, which is $10,000 per month, right? Now, don't get too caught up in that. If you really have 1,000 users in our organization, it's likely that all of them may not use Power BI. And Power BI Premium is coming. I'm going to talk about that in a second. But this, again, to set the context, gives you the upper limit for Power BI spending. Premium offers you lower pricing for large user bases. And it's capacity-based pricing. It has some other benefits. I'll come to that in a second. So you can see here, so for Pro, for 1,000 users, you could spend less. And it all depends on kind of capacity. And there's a calculator out there, Power BI Premium Price Calculator, which you can use to calculate. So for large users, you can get significant savings. Power BI Free, let's talk about that tier. And the way it was introduced in that long announcement, which talked all about Power BI Premium, was that, oh, we're simplifying the free Power BI service. And my friend's a great man once said, everything should be made as simple as possible. Simplicity is good, but not simpler. And and I think this was the case with free. I feel that yeah, it was a little too much. Certainly, kind of an abrupt change. So sharing is not allowed. So now, if you click on the share button, it asks you to upgrade. So that's a big change. I'll talk about that. And if you think about it, I feel the biggest thing it takes away from Power BI is that viral growth. I mean, a lot of these companies have enjoyed the viral growth because somebody enjoyed their services and they shared it with their peers, their friends, their team members. So that ability is kind of restricted with Power BI Free. And I talked about adoption, and I talked about that it's already super hard. You're already fighting a lot of battles. There's usually kind of an entrenched old BI tool that you're struggling with. There's, of course, people are resistant to change. IT is always going to be, whoa, 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 let's do an analysis, let's do a study, let's bring in some consultants, shall we? Oh my gosh, give me a break, right? Business users need BI now. So yeah, so it just makes things a little bit harder. So this would be my recommendation for if you're looking to kind of evangelize, adopt, get the ball rolling about Power BI. So Power BI Free is individual use only, limited evaluation. You can use that, right? Power BI Pro, you can go with the trial. And existing Power BI users may be offered a 12-month trial, but even otherwise, you can always sign up for a 2-month trial. Now, I have submitted an ideas on ideas@powerbi.com for a 3-month trial. I'll make sure I put the link in the notes. And hey, if you care about that, vote for that, please. And I just feel that gives you a little bit more breathing room going for the trials. That's still no money out of your pocket right now. Now the next step is shared pro account. So you go pro because it gives you more functionality and so forth, but you set up a single account. It's an evaluation account. You wouldn't be able to go kind of full scale live in a larger organization with this. Single account, call it something like, proof of concept at companyname.com, and it's shared amongst different POC members. And I think that still works. You can still work without stepping on each other's toes because in a pro account, you can create workspaces. So each person, maybe somebody in IT group or somebody in sales, somebody's marketing, you get, proof of concept kind of stakeholders from each team, kind of the candidates, and they have their own workspace and they can do what they want in it. So I think you can run with this quite a bit. You can do quite a bit. You can have a lot of people involved, and you're paying just for one user, for one account, $10 per account. Now, of course, again, this is not going to last too long. You're eventually gonna, get to the point where it's, um, yeah, you're gonna have to decide which way to go. But again, I don't want you to throw the baby out with the bathwater. I know right now everybody's kind of fixated on licensing, but if you look at the overall value, it's incredible. And the only way to assess that, I can't tell you that. I can't tell you what value this brings. The only way to assess that is for you to try it. I mean, that's how I discovered it. That's how I fell in love with Power BI. So here you have free account, a shared pro account, or a pro trial. And of course, then you can consider pro account. And even at this point, even if you're a 10,000 user organization, at this point, you're still using pro accounts because you're going to grow step by step. You're not going to just say, hey, let's bring everybody in. No, I mean, expand the trial slowly, go step by step. So go pro account, get it for 100 users, so forth. And again, the threshold right now is about 500 users. If you go beyond that, premium starts making sense. Before that, not so much. And again, these price points might change. So check the Power BI premium calculator, and then you go premium if you have a large user base. And again, keep in mind that the pricing may change. In the Data Insight Summit, they had announced a smaller SKUs, what they call them, but essentially premium, which is for a smaller organization. So that may be coming. Just check the premium calculator. All right, cool. So I'm just gonna pause real quick, and yeah, if you are on YouTube Live, let me see if you can ask me questions. So normally I do this as I call this Talk Power BI because you're able to talk to me. That is next week. If you are interested in that, just go to talkpowerbi.com. You'll be able to call and just ask me any questions. This one is new. I'm kind of excited about this. But here, I believe you have a chat window where you can ask any questions. I'm trying to find, make sure I'm keeping eyes on that. Okay, cool. So, yep. All right. Hopefully that all made sense. And again, I don't want you to lose that excitement over Power BI because it is pretty incredible. Power BI Pro, let's go a little bit deeper. Power BI Premium, I want to talk more about that. So I talked about its capacity-based pricing. So once you buy that capacity, theoretically, you can have unlimited distribution. You can have any number of readers. Now, of course, I mean, if you throw like 10,000 readers on there, viewers on there for Power BI, you might see performance issues. So the Power BI pricing calculator does tell you that, oh, if you have this many users, you should buy this tier, you should buy this much capacity. For 1,000 users, it recommends the P1 with 8 virtual cores, so you can just go with that. But these are only going to be readers. So Power BI Premium is going to give you theoretically unlimited readers, but in practice, it's going to vary based on the performance you're getting, and that is going to obviously be decided on how much are you doing with it, right? How many users are hitting it concurrently, and so forth. So that's going to depend on you, right? But you still need the authors the pro users need the pro license, right? So authors are publishing reports and dashboards and updating them, setting up the refresh, all of that stuff. They need pro license. So that's going to be on top of that. And the premium calculator adds all of that in. So again, kind of lower pricing, and the more the number of users you have, the larger organization you have, the more savings it offers. And again, here's a quick shot of the calculator. So this was announced. This is available right now. This is what was announced at the Data Insight Summit. So hopefully it's coming soon. So yeah, right now the price point is kind of $5,000 per month. That's where it starts. EM1 and EM2 gonna start at a much lower point, which means it's gonna make it possible for possibly much smaller organization to go to premium and have this unlimited readership. And the other thing is, of course, it gives you dedicated capacity. So that's kind of unique. Even if you, let's say you had 100 users and you go premium, you're not saving money. In fact, you might be spending more than you would spend for 100 users on Power BI Pro, right? But you would get dedicated capacity. On Power BI Pro, you're running on shared capacity. Every other Power BI Pro user out there, they're kind of on the same servers. And of course, Microsoft is in the cloud. They are the Azure kings. I mean, they know what they're doing. So generally, it's, I haven't noticed any issues. Of course, there's sometimes stuff going on around updates, which they do pretty frequently, which is a good thing. But still, if you're running some kind of intense load, a lot of users hitting at the same time, dedicated capacity may give you more benefit. And this one is probably really key for a lot of organizations. So a lot of organizations, they're like, oh man, I don't know, I don't want to be on the cloud. And that's a whole different discussion. I get really excited about it, and I love challenging people about that. Just to touch that a little bit, what I usually challenge them on is that aren't you on cloud already? And a lot of organizations are, they just don't realize it. And they have one of their most sensitive assets in the cloud, which is the email. A lot of organizations are they're not running on-prem Exchange or anything anymore. It's in the cloud, it's Exchange Online. So I'm like, hey, if you can put that on the cloud, that's what gets dredged up in all the litigation, right? That's the sensitive stuff, my friend. Yep, that's all the skeletons. And if you can put that on the cloud, why not go with PowerBI.com? But I get it. I get it. There's a lot of friction, a lot of resistance in a lot of places. So people are thinking of, and Microsoft has offered this. So now they have this Power BI report server on-prem, and Power BI Premium gives you that capability. So this is maybe, well, I'm not, makes me wonder for sure, but there's no way to kind of just buy Power BI report server. It's like, hey, on-prem, that's all I'm going to do. Really, the way to buy a Power BI report server is you buy Power BI Premium, and it lets you use that capacity in the cloud, or it lets you use that on-prem by running a Power BI report server. So Bilal is asking, when is Power BI Premium E1 and E2 is expected to come? I'm so glad I have the answer for that, because James Phillips answered that when he opened the Data Insight Summit. He promised that anything that is being shown and talked about is going to be delivered within 90 days. So but maybe he was talking about the features, and this is not a feature. This might be dependent on the sales team. I don't know. But generally, James Phillips, stand-up guy. I really admire him, man of his words. So I would expect, so Data Insight Summit was June 12th, so July, August, September. Oh boy, not that much time left. So I would expect, that's what my expectation would be, that it should be there within 90 days since they announced it. So Hans is asking about Power BI Premium incremental refresh. Again, I think so. I have the same answer. I think that was mentioned in the Data Insight Summit. So by the protocol that the Microsoft team follows, the Power BI Premium incremental refresh should be coming soon. Okay, I want to talk more about incremental refresh. That one is interesting. But let's talk about this. So Power BI report server. Yep. So Power BI Premium is the way to buy that, and you can deploy in the cloud, deploy it on-prem. There is another way, which is SQL. If you have SQL Server Enterprise licenses with software assurance, if you have that, great. If you don't have it, I really doubt you're going to go out and get that to get Power BI report server. That just doesn't make sense. if you're going for Power BI and you don't have any of those licenses, you would just buy Power BI Premium and use that to deploy an on-prem server. So yeah, that's kind of the lay of the land. And again, I would like to remind you that uh, focus on the value. And I was talking with one of Microsoft team members, and they were saying, "Yeah, man, we gotta maybe the communication could have been different." And this was not the messaging team. This was some engineer or PM in the back. So they were like, just a heart to heart and saying, "Hey, maybe the communication could have been different." And I said, I'll admit, I was upset kind of to begin with, but I have come around. I have come around and I fully embrace it. For one, I definitely see the value. And the example I used with the person that I was talking to was Calendly. And if you and since I've become a consultant, I use all of these different tools. And this one I started using Calendly. All it does is helps others schedule appointments for me. And notice, ignore the premium thing. Uh, yeah, ignore the look at the fine print. Month by month, it is $10 per month. So I'm like, if I can pay $10 for this, Power BI certainly deserves it. Uh, so that's one. And I think the other thing is now this one, I don't know how you're going to take it, but I believe that when you put some skin in the game, suddenly it makes it real. And I see that with my students. I mean, of course, there's a lot of free content out there. I put a lot of free content on my YouTube channel, blogs, all of that. But students really take off only when they pay up and join my classes because again, you put skin in the game, and that just makes it real. That just makes you committed. So I don't know, just my take that by paying for it, you're gonna find greater value rather than if you would just like, oh yeah, we're gonna run on free for a while and just check it out, and you're always in a checkout mode. All right, pretty cool, awesome. So I know this is the first time. So normally on Talk Power BI, I take questions and you can actually talk to me, which I enjoy too. And that is next week. So you can check that out. Just go to talkpowerbi.com. And July 21, Fridays, I try to do it. And I do want to say hi to Ranjar. Hopefully, I don't mess up your name. All the way from Kherson City, Russia. So hello. Um, yeah, if you guys are still on, I would love to know kind of which stage you are at. Ranjar, yeah, I would love to know what stage you are at in adopting Power BI. Are you just kind of finding out, considering it? There are a lot of us out there in that state, or you're like, no, 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 we've been using it, and yeah, this is what's going on. Okay, cool. So I'll hang out for a little bit. If you have any questions, yeah, put that in the chat window, and I'll try to answer it to the best of my ability. Let's see. What else? Let me talk about deployment a little bit while I have you guys here. So in general, really the only deployments I've done are what I would call guerrilla deployments, right? So let's go back to our talk about our sheet. Great, perfect. So yeah, so the ones I've done is where either I was in the business team or I was working with them. I was a consultant, kind of helping them out, and we would fly under the radar for as long as we could because it was never worth it to try to go up against kind of the IT or the central teams and try to convince. It just took too much effort. So we did it the guerrilla way. We kind of got in and started kind of working models. Actually, all we did was we just did one project. We picked one project and not too big, not like a 6 months thing. That's not how Power BI works. It's about Agile BI. We would really build something, sometimes something that we can build in a week or sometimes in 3 days. I've done that. And you would have something tangible, something positive after that. So you pick something kind of small enough, and by small, boy, you can do a lot with Power BI in 2 or 3 days. It's amazing. So we built something. In fact, I was at a healthcare company, and at day three, we were starting to show the solution, and people would get up and start clapping. I'm like, why are they clapping? I mean, I get excited about this stuff, but this is a little too much. But later they told me that what we were showing and what we had built in the past few days, they had been trying to get that done for at least a year, working with their IT. So pick something small, but that can still be substantial, and yeah, make sure that that is impactful. So it's not like a test project off to the side. It's something real, part of the business. So we do that, and we let that be our, kind of beacon of light, and that pulls in all the other teams, and yeah, just becomes a success story, and it really just works from word of mouth. You don't even have to do any selling. All right, my friends. So, well, let's do last call for questions. So yeah, if you have something, just go ahead and type it in. But yeah, last call. Otherwise, you have the opportunity to hang out with me on Talk Power BI next week. Just go to talkpowerbi.com and sign up, and I'll see you then. Okay, going once, going twice. All right, my friends, this is Avi Singh signing off. I will talk to you soon. Take care.